My name is Fadzaichi Lundo. I'm a mother of one.
My name is Telia Monda. Um, I'm also a mother of one. I have a girl, and it's been an interesting journey. Me trying to figure out how I can prepare her for for a first period, and I would say that it's also been a bit of my inspiration for the work that we are doing. Two things for me, were key. The first one being, I could not imagine that they were girls who were missing school because they didn't have sanitary pads. And I could not imagine girls who were using cow dung to try and manage their, periods or menstrual health. And yeah, I think for me it broke my heart.
Majority obviously use the cloths. Then some are using cow dung. Some use like grass. They patch it up and then there was one instance where we had someone tell us that they use leftover sadza.
As women, us included, are just struggling, with menstrual health, our own periods, and tsineka kunyara in terms of talking about it to someone.
We're also trying really to bring awareness to corporates, like the workspaces that we work in. Sometimes it's like going to work and you don't have proper disposal services. That's something that we also realized, and we decided, this would be something that we could also look into, just so that, every workplace should be period friendly. Every restaurant should be period friendly. And I remember there was this one quote that we saw that said, if condoms are free, if you can walk into any bathroom and get free condoms, why can't we walk into a bathroom and get a pad? Because sex is a choice, but our period really isn't.
When we started, all we did was sell menstrual cups, which is, something that is still very new. Not just to Zimbabwe, but I think within Africa, it's still a concept that's very new. And you find that we are a pad nation, meaning that everybody uses sanitary pads, and we're talking the disposable ones. But there is quite a lot of other products out there, and we felt like coming in to bring in that option, just knowing that I have another choice. I don't have to use disposable pads. I can use a menstrual cup.
We also demonstrate how we use the products, like physically show them, because some of them don't even know how they can use them. We talk about hygiene, which is also a big, role. Like our workshops are really intensified.
While we were in, I think we were just opening up from COVID 2020, right? 2020 or 2021. We decided we wanted to create a platform where we could bring together all stakeholders. And I think that was also something that we recognized, that we are not meant to be in this cause, looking at each other as competition. We're supposed to be able to come together and make like changes that allow for policy changes. So we created a platform, which was, one of the first ever, the Period Dignity Conference. So we did go out and, started looking for sponsorship, but the sponsorship was in the form of sanitary products that we would then distribute. I must say that Minerva was, they were one of the first. They were the first.
They were the first
To actually just look at what we were trying to do and say, look, we want to help you do this. So their sponsorship was kind of like our first port of call in terms of going to the community. And what happened is we procured the products based on the budget we had given them, and we really then started sourcing for communities or schools or girls that were actually in need. So we got a lot of people reaching out and saying, no, there's this community that, you need to go to. And we managed to then, it's always important for us to do due diligence.
I'm Praise Chapre, a representative of the high school girls at Chinika High School. I was among us, the girls in the meeting. We had fun. We learned a lot about our hygiene, like keeping ourselves from dirty and the bacteria. And we are so grateful. They brought some gifts. And we were so excited as the girls because like we have different children with different backgrounds. So some of us are having challenges in getting the sanitary wear. We are so happy that at least for this month and next month, we have somewhere to start.
So after getting, say a community, we'll talk about Hatcliffe, which was recently. These were private donors. It was a group of 5 friends who are guys. And they reached out to us and said, look, we have put a little money together. We would like you to help us or facilitate the donation of these. So we looked at a community that we had on our books, and we just went through due diligence to make sure that, they were an organization that was credible and that they were actually doing or having work in the community. The furthest we've ever done was Chimanimani and Chipinge, and this was requested by the donors, in which case it was Morgan and Co. And they wanted us to impact the young mothers and girls in areas affected by Cyclone Igai. So I think that was the furthest that we actually did. But again, you find that, the donations or the communities are all in the same kind of situation where young girls are saying, we don't have anything to use. And I think one of the things that struck out for me was that some of the girls we gave pads to then told us they had no underwear. And this is something that we had not really thought about. We had thought about, having the products there. But honestly, when we were confronted with that, we realized that definitely it is something that we have to take into consideration. So it was a learning moment for us. With our regular donors, this is Minerva, Morgan Co, and then the private donors, they give us a budget for the year. We still do go knocking on other corporate stores, and if we do get a bit more, then we're working throughout the year. And usually, depending on how large the donation is, it does take us a couple of months, maybe about 3 months to complete the donations. And we like to go into communities that we haven't been to, but we also like to take our time in terms of looking for donations that are not in the urban areas. So currently we have done Bulawayo, we've done Masvingo, Chimanimani, Chipinge,
and then locally we've done almost all the local communities, the Mbari Airport, Chitungiza.
Chitungiza twice, actually.
Yeah, Chitungiza we did twice. Yeah. So we also, in terms of donations as well, in terms of things that we've learned during the processes that we've been doing, we realized that we never really considered the disabled communities. And that's something that we eventually figured out after we visited one place where there was a disabled girl, and we spoke to the caregiver, who was the sister, and they expressed their challenges with the young lady when she goes on her periods and stuff like that. So those are things that you never really think about when you start off, but as you go through it, you start meeting all these other challenges. And so now, because of that, we actually consider those communities as well. to say, let's also look for donations for, disabled communities and things like that.
The first donation, which was in Mount Hampton, because I remember I didn't go, but Fati went, and she was telling me that she really felt like the mothers within that community would come and take the pads from the girls and sell them. So it really felt like a job that we will never be able to accomplish. And it's not just within the community. Even when we went into some of the squatter camps in Wensleydale, there was that threat in terms of, one, we cannot leave, like stock for 5 months. One, there's no accountability. And then two, the girls will end up going to sell them so that they can buy some food or anything else. And then three, surprisingly, was the fact that young men are actually smoking or using pads and diapers as some sort of a drug. So I think for me that was one of the those are challenges that I hope we learn how to deal with. We have already started trying to make or produce our own pads so that we can at least control the prices, but the quality. And I'll speak around quality because we've had some instances where donors would say, okay, no, but these are expensive. There's something cheaper on the market. But if I'm not comfortable buying it and using it because it's a bad product, I don't feel that we should do the same thing to our girls. And whether it's a donation or not, we need to take into consideration the safety and the quality of what we're giving to them. So we definitely want to be able to expand, have a whole manufacturing or industry part of our business where we can just get to control some of those things. And then we want to be able to go regional. I wish that people could see what we see when we go into these communities and see these girls. And we always talk about girls being left behind in terms of education and progressing in life. And when you look at it, missing a whole week of school because you're on your period just sets you back.